corner.
Hey guys, I just got this haircut. I think it makes me look like an illiterate Matilda. Right. I look like a woman who might secretly have a tail, right? Talk to me after, all right? All right. And then Friday you can also catch me in Gary. So if you guys want to pony up, carpool, all right. My last name is Smarandescu, and it's Romanian, and my Romanian grandmother just turned 102 years old this year. Yeah, thank you. That's super impressive, you guys. That's like 700 in American years. My parents, they were raised in communism. All right. But my parents are raised in communism, but it wasn't like a millennial kind of communism, you know, they didn't like pick it up in college. Because there's two kinds of communism, right? There's college communism they get from reading books, and then there's real communism where they burn your books. One of the ways you can tell my dad was raised in communism is anytime he wants to say something racist, he doesn't like post about it on Facebook, he'll just like dial up the volume of the stereo so the government doesn't hear. All right, that was a hit when I lived in Iowa, okay? It's pretty weird hearing that Argentinians are bloody liars, the beat of my hips don't lie. All right, fake stereotypes was not racist, okay. My dad was raised in communism, and one of the other ways you can tell is that he uses the word poison in an unusual amount in conversation. Like when I was a kid, he took me to Disney World, and as soon as we stepped in the park, he turned to me and was like, "We have to live. I've been poisoned." It's like, you know, you can just admit you hate it here. Using poison as an excuse to get out of something is the Iron Curtain edition of The Dog Ate My Homework. My parents are kind of nuts, but it makes sense, you know, like my dad's family was exiled, right? Someone who's been exiled is never gonna use the phrase, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed," right? Instead, they're just like, "When I die, then you'll know." All right, you guys look like a bunch of microwave owners, am I correct on that assumption? Yeah? All right, yep, I read you just with precision. I'm a pretty motivated comedian. Like I woke up this morning and thought to myself, I want 10 microwave jokes by 5. I can only come up with a few, but here they are. Number 1, has anyone tried eating off that complimentary plate that comes with the microwave? 2, how about that necklace, huh? I wore it to a wedding. A lot of microwaves, they have tinted windows. It's like, why does my frozen burrito need a tinted window? Is it doing drugs? All right. Yeah, we're done with the appliance material for now. We'll revisit it later. I was in Berlin earlier this year. It's a great city. Anybody ever been there? All right, yeah, got a few. All right, great. When I was in Berlin, I stayed with this racist Airbnb host. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend staying with a racist person you're not related to. But I get to the Airbnb, and the first thing that happens is the host swings open the door, and he's like, "Good evening, where did you come from?" I was like, "I just came from Berlin." And he was like, "Berlin? Romanians are ruining Berlin!" And I go, "Hey, wait a second, I'm Romanian." And he was like, "Oh, I am so sorry. It's just the Romanian mafia is terrible, yes. They steal and then they fall asleep at the train station." It's like, what are you complaining about? That's the laziest mafia I've ever heard of. I love the idea of abandoned narcoleptic thieves. I think the lazy mafia would treat disposing of a dead body like I handle a Goodwill donation. Just like forget it in the trunk for 3 weeks. You can tell how affluent a country is just based off their mafia's activity, right? Like the Italians, they got extortion, murder. Romania, forgery and napping. All right, that's just middle school. Okay, all right. I'm from Iowa, but I briefly lived in Montana for a hot minute. I know, right? There's a lot of Mormons in Montana, and a lot of Mormons believe they all get their own special heaven that's full of their extended family. It's like, that's not heaven, that's Thanksgiving. But when I lived there, I used to live by this like really exclusive vacation spot called the Yellowstone Club. Like J-Lo's part, yeah, all right, that's it. But to join the club, you have to pay $300,000 just to like prove that you have the money. That's outrageous, right? All right, just want you to agree with me. No, but I wish we also had like equivalent vacation spots for us peasants, right? Like if you want to go on a vacation in Branson, all you need to do is just submit a video of you getting in a fist fight with your mom in a Big Lots. There's only one rule in my super exclusive vacation spot. It says if you want to go swimming, you have to wear a Tasmanian Devil t-shirt in the pool. Okay? Them's the rules. I'm gonna go back to talking about my dad. Is that cool? My dad's name is Bassrab. As in, I bass grab that ass! I love the way he said, my dad has a very thick accent, and I love the way he says certain words, like millionaire. Millionaire. Growing up, he liked to keep me grounded by always reminding me that I'm not a millionaire. And he would say this, he would just randomly shout at me when I was doing normal things. He'd be like, "You're not the millionaire!" It's like, I know, I'm buying a track phone, all right? But he also saying something good happened. He'd be like, "It's nice, right? It's like we are a millionaire!" It's like we're just at Denny's, okay? When I lived in Montana, I went through a breakup, and one of the last scenes of my last relationship was I went skiing with my ex and this like older female acquaintance. That's just a long way of calling someone a bitch. But they were kind of like flirting with each other, and I was uncomfortable. And we were sitting up on the ski lift, just like casually a few thousand feet or a few hundred feet up in the air. And she like turns to us and she's like, I kind of have a huge confession to make. I'm actually a huge cougar. I love younger men. I was like, that's cool you mentioned you love younger men, because I love to push older women off of ski lifts. So I had to move here. I was breaking up in public a lot with my last relationship. Anybody ever do that? All right, it's great for if you feel have attention. It's the best. You can usually tell if a couple is breaking up in public because they're usually like wistfully gazing at each other with tears in their eyes. But when me and my ex were breaking up in public, I jumped up on a picnic table and I screamed, "Fine, leave me!" That's how you know I'm an athlete, Like he made me so mad I figured out how to jump, right? Next breakup might throw a shot put, javelin, you never know. I'm gonna close with this. I'm doing stand-up and I'm not like that talented, Like, if I was like a musician, I could like sing when I'm taking the shower, doing the dishes, but like me, I do stand-up. So like if I'm taking a shower, I just have to practice shutting down hecklers. So for those of you that don't know, this is what it sounds like when I'm taking a shower. You guys ready? All right. Shh. Hey, shut up! Shut up! All right, that's it. Thank you very much.